What's up, guys? Welcome back for more Oddsparks. I made some quote-unquote improvements to my Bielefeld farm, mostly to deal with the pathways that the sparks take, whether or not they have logs or whether or not they have dropped off their payloads and stuff like that. And it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's very yeah. It doesn't look pretty at all. But importantly, it works. So the way it works is I'm trying to avoid having any exit traffic enter where a splitter has a job to do. So this splitter, for instance, should only have things entering and being distributed left or right. There shouldn't be any traffic that should come back this way. And so the way that works is if they go right, they will get funneled this way, and they will drop off their cargo, and then they will turn this way, and then they will go only this way until they reach this. Once they reach this, if they have wood still, then they're going to be directed downward, and that's going to go back into this little queue where they go back for distribution. If they turn left, they're going to go through the crossing, up to drop off their payload, whether they do or they do not, it doesn't matter. If they do drop off their payload, they will then be redirected to this pathway here, which says only sparks with no items can pass through. So they will then take this path and reroute into picking up wood. And so if they do not drop off their wood, so you can see some of them running here, but if they do not drop off their wood, then they will be redirected back down to this item filter, which... Sparks, get out of my way. You're making this difficult. They will be redirected to this pathway if they have wood still, which will then rematriculate them into the queue for dropping off wood. And then same thing over here. If they do drop off the wood, they will then go down this pathway through this crossing. They will be registered as not having wood, so they will go through the no item filter pathway. And then, which, that might not be necessary, but whatever, anyway. No, it is necessary, because that stops them from coming down this way and taking this right-hand path. Anyway, so, if they don't have items, they will then come down this way, and then, again, get distributed to this one way, and then they will go and pick up wood. So, it works, but my word, it is... it is a mess to look at. So yeah, that was fun. I spent like 20 minutes just running through this, just trying to figure out pathways and figure out little workarounds for splitters, because yeah, I want to try and avoid some of the problems that I had with my splitters and stuff like that. Likewise, I also did some work over here on one of my older systems, which entirely unnecessary, because I don't think I even really used that system very much in the first place. Let's see. This place is still doing the same thing. I haven't had to touch this in forever. One of these days I might do something with that. But, what did I do? It wasn't here. This one's fine. It was... wasn't here. I mean, I could do the same thing that I did before with this and create that, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just using that for regular sparks, so that's not a big deal. It wasn't here. Man, where was it? Was it here for the choppy sparks? It might have been the choppy sparks. Hang on, let's go. Let's go. And get out of the way of the boulders. Ah, yes. Okay, it was. So, yeah, same thing. I just wanted to make it so that the pathways for the splitters are always clear on the exit, with the exception of... or actually, no, I did do this one. Whatever. I could definitely make this better over here for this splitter, but I didn't really see the need. But yeah, I could loop these back in and all that, but this one doesn't matter. They don't really get stuck right here. So yeah, did the same thing. Splitter, they come over here, they either go straight or they go right. If they go right, then they'll follow this pathway and they'll drop off. If they don't drop off, then they'll take the one way, cross back this way, go this way, and feed back into the system. And yeah, same thing over here. They'll just feed through here and won't have to cross back on this. So right now for this splitter, the only side that's retouching the splitter on exit is this tiny little pathway right here, which so far isn't a problem. I'm sure if I added more sparks to the line, it would be a problem. But yeah, like I could probably do this one, but this is such a small path, I didn't really see the point in bothering with it. But if I wanted to, I could do something like that. I would just have to, you know, set up some one-ways and set up no item or item filters, and yeah, I didn't see the point in doing it for that one. But yeah, anyway, that was pretty much what I was messing around with on these little pathways. I'm still trying to figure out some of the better ways to do it and where to incorporate some of the tricks that I've learned. And yeah, it's not by any means a smooth process yet, but yeah, like chances are, if you checked out almost any of my my setups, you'd end up finding a lot of mistakes. But overall, I mean, it's working. I'm getting top, you know, topped off inventories and stuff like that, so it's not too bad. This one's giving us free stuff. This one's set up for the Lomi sparks, but it only starts once I actually put some clumps and stuff in here, so that'll actually restart up the system. So yeah, not too bad. I could set up like blockers and wires and levers to turn some of this stuff off, but I haven't really seen the need to mess around with that too much. Let's see, what else did I do? I also incorporated a few recyclers in here, because one of the big problems I ran into was way too many pellets. Like, way too many pellets. This barrel was full, and then because of how I had my, my item stuff set up, all of my gatherers were just stuck in a big circle here. So I threw in some recyclers, some of which are actually going to see usage, some are not. Like this one right here, this recycler that recycles these little shards. This is probably going to see very little usage. And then I didn't even see the point of putting one over here, since we don't get very many of them. Honestly, the pellets are the biggest problem with this, and I say problem, but it's not a bad problem to have. Too many pellets, anyway. But yeah, came over here and I also set up a drop-off and pick-up kind of a setup. So if they are empty, then they will constantly cycle around here, and if they do have an item, then instead of getting stuck behind and slowing down the pickup ones, they will then run through this exit crossing and drop off. So yeah, pretty much set up. I guess the only other thing I would do to improve this would probably be to place a like a crate, like here, this kind of a thing, so that way the pickup sparks will constantly be you know, able to turn around in the quickest amount of time, and then I could swap in, like, you know, regular stumpy sparks to do this. Which, you know, it's not a terrible idea. We could do something like that here, just to do it. Why not? So we could grab some of you guys and... There you go. That's your job now. You just run down this path and deliver things. Not too bad. Yeah. I guess the biggest problem with adding them on this line is that they're going to be stuck behind this, which I could alleviate that just by swapping them out with carry sparks. Probably should have done that instead of doing that. It's probably The entire reason why I set this up the way that I did. So, tell you what, let's bring you guys back. One of you. Knew there was a reason why I used different kinds of sparks for this. These guys are fine, though. They're okay. So yeah, I'm going to need more carry sparks. Alright, let's go grab some carry sparks. See, this is why you set up your automation and run your little trials and all that stuff. It's like I try to come up with some of these better solutions for some of these things, but I don't know, stuff just kind of comes to you in the middle of talking about it. At least for me, anyway. So let's, let's grab a good handful of you. Okay, so the hold up here is going to be the distiller, which is fine. We can throw some of these in here and throw some of these in here, and that'll help jumpstart that. You know, if I were more industrious, I would actually start divvying out some of these pellets and stuff like that via big long pathways and stuff, but I'm not, so... Oh man, so many little tiny improvements, you know? I like how I got choppy sparks there because I was too lazy. Okay, so let's grab some of you guys. And then there we go. Okay. You know what? Fine, we'll swap you out too. Probably only need one on this line, to be honest. This line doesn't get very much usage. 5 will probably be fine on that line. We could probably swap this for just 2. Maybe 2 carriers would be fine here. This line is pretty saturated. Yeah, maybe just 2 carriers would be fine on this line. Yeah, alright. So yeah, that should be a slightly more optimized version of this this little setup we've got. Yeah, little optimizations. Those are the real-time changers. Let's see, any other tiny improvements we could make to some of this stuff? This is kind of stationary as is. If, say for instance, if I were to peel off some of the aether shards, which ones would I want to route them to? Choppy and carry, probably? I might be able to... Well, no, choppy don't take those. Although, I did have regular... No, this is picking up from the forest spunnies, so I don't even have to worry about this side. Choppy sparks, I think, are full up. Let's go check. This is probably going to be an episode where I just diagnose and take a look at some of my facilities and stuff like that. So if you're not into that, then, well, sorry. Let's see. Let's see. Well, we've got a problem here. What's the problem? Inventory's full. So how many choppy sparks do we have? It's not full, actually, so production has stopped. Okay. Let us figure this out. Oh yeah, they're not even getting launched over there anymore. Okay. Is the problem that this is full? Yeah, probably. So they've got stones. This is pretty full. Yeah, I think it's just because this is full, which, once the stones and stuff like that get picked up, it's fine. Well, right now the best thing to do to fix this would be to add more to the overflow. Or actually, no. The best thing to do would be to add a recycler. Do I have enough for that? No. Need more stone, need more shards. Well, I've got these, and need more stones. Need 3 more. Let's get them. I have to sully my staff to go gather some stones for a recycler. This should fix this whole problem, though. I mean, I technically don't even need this, just because, yeah, it just doesn't really serve a purpose anymore. I'm not pulling inventory from it. I don't even know how this crystal got in here, actually. Must have been because this... No, that's not full. I don't know. So that's full. Would probably be a good idea to swap out all these stumpy sparks for carry sparks now. So. Let's do that. So some people were having some trouble with figuring out how to automate forest spunny killing, and the best piece of advice I can give is when you set up where you're tossing your sparks, make sure it's not directly on the burrow. Set it off to the side of the burrow. And then hopefully your choppy sparks won't destroy it. So, I think that fixed that. It's still not very pretty, but... let's be honest, at this point, we've given up on pretty for what we've got set up, haven't we? Yeah, won't make another compressor here. I thought about it, but yeah. We could set up the exit line for this splitter, but is that necessary? A minute, 22 a minute. I wonder how much it would actually change the timing on 22 a minute if I set up a proper exit line and all that stuff. We could set it up. I don't know if I've actually done one of these setups in real time for you guys. Sure. Let's try it out. Okay, I'm gonna need more... Let's see, I've got enough for item filters, I've got enough for one-ways, I've got enough for crossings. Okay, I think I could set this up. Alright, I've got wood. Sweet, let's do this. Okay, so, when they come back this way, which I don't know if I'm going to care about this or not. I mean, I probably could. But, would I want to do that? Or I could just make it so that the second they step away from this crosser, they peel off. I could make one pathway and have it set up to where if you don't carry anything, you walk all this way. Okay, let's do that. So this is going to come all the way this way. We can set up a crossing here. We can destroy these trees. We can actually open this ancient container that's been sitting here this entire time. Speaking of which, by the way, you can destroy these ancient containers if you don't want them anymore, which I'm going to do to this one. Takes a little while, but anyway. So this pathway is going to go through here. Okay. Now then, the slightly more complicated part. We want to set up item filters. No, item filters. Here, I think. Here, here, and here. And these will be set up so that if you don't have an item, you can pass through. Or no, I could actually block them off. No. Is that what I want to do? No. I want them to cycle back in if they've still got a piece of wood, I think. So right now, if they've got wood, then they'll get split, they'll move along the path. If they don't, then they'll turn right back around. That's not what I want them to do. And I'm okay with them moving in one direction. You know what, I don't think I need these item filters here. Okay, so if I put these here, they'll move that way. So right now the way it's going to work is if it's full, you'll still end up on this path with the wood. We can put that there and set up a one-way this way, which may not be necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I want it so that if you still have wood, that you go back to this splitter. So we're going to set up this and then make it one. I can't do a one-way on the ramp. Dang it. Okay. We're going to move this tracked item thing here. I don't like the idea of putting a path right in front of the splitter. might defeat the purpose of trying to do this little workaround, but we'll see. Okay, so if you... Dang it, this pathway is making this difficult. Or this ramp is making this difficult. So if you still have wood, I want you to go this way, and I want you to take a right. Now, how do I deal with this ramp? Really inconveniently placed ramp. I could set up... Man, this is just... stupid. Okay. Tell you what, we can... Tree! Okay. We can set this guy up. So if... Wrong one. So yeah, you'll only go through if you don't have items. I need to set up a one-way here. Okay, they'll go back for pickup. Now the problem is dealing with... Oh, we got the Reforester trophy just now, Reforester 2. That's for planting X amount of Lomi Sparks, I think. So now we just have to deal with the return trip on wood. I mean, I guess I don't need this path, because either way they're gonna get fed back into the system. Right? I also don't really have any examples of them full... Okay, no, they dropped off. You're at 20, you're at 20. Okay, now you're walking through. So where are you going to walk? You're going to walk all the way up here, clogging up the exit line. How can we fix this? Man, I really wish I could put something down here. That would make this so much better. Unless... Is there a way for me to make it so that they route back this way? So instead of having the one-ways go left, they go right? I think we might still end up with the same problem, though. Yeah, because then the empty ones would end up on the right-hand side of the lane. Dang, okay. How the heck do we figure this out? Okay. Next setup would be to take the full sparks that are coming back this way and routing them more beneficially. Because as it stands, they just end up taking a left and going back through the splitter. I mean, I guess that would be something we could potentially solve here. And then the problem with that would be that eventually all my sparks would be trapped over here. Which I don't want. I mean, eventually they would drop off the wood, and then they would come back empty-handed. Okay. Well, we could do the same thing we kind of did and make it so that only the wood can go through here. Or reverse filter, rather. Then we could take path. Oh no, it's probably fine. Yeah, the empties are still on the exit path, so that's fine. Whereas the full ones are staying. I suppose if I put a recycler here, that would also fix the problem that I'm talking about. Which, I need more stone! Still need more. Where does the time go? Already been 30 minutes. Well, more like 33 minutes. But still. Okay, yeah. Compressor here would fix our problems that we're having, well, potentially having, with wood that doesn't get dropped off. Could set that up. I would just have to do that. I was thinking I could set up a distiller for these, but we don't really get very many of them, so it might not be worth it. As it stands, I mean, I do use a decent amount of choppy sparks, to be fair. I like to have at least a decent amount on me at any given moment, mostly because we're fighting more and more dangerous creatures. So it's not unimportant having this stuff. This is the kind of stuff I mostly spend my time doing when I'm off camera. I'm just trying to figure out how to make the systems just a bit smoother. Let's extend the episode just a little bit while I sit here and ponder this. I mean, the biggest problem that I have with the Stumpy Sparks that still have wood on them coming through here is just the fact that they slow down the ones that are empty. You know? That's my biggest problem with it. Is it a a really large problem? Not really. Does it meaningfully impede progress on this? Not like a whole lot. This is still reading 20, 22, 23 a minute. Hasn't even been a minute since that one's been up, so it's not going to give us a real indicator. I guess technically you would want to double this because we have a splitter earlier up the chain. So in actuality, it's probably closer to like 48. If that's correct in my line of logic. It's probably a really obvious solution, and I'm just not thinking of it. But man, this ramp really complicates things. Yeah. It's a bit of a shame. I don't think there's any new buildings or logic or anything like that that could really help. I mean, I could set it up so that they feed into a recycler. That could work. If I set up a crossing here, make a path straight across, but of course I need more stone. Really? You're not gonna fit there, huh? Fit there. Can I path down this? Oh, I can't. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Okay, so it's gonna be compressor. I want this to be on a somewhat short path, but no, that's not going to work. Because the idea is I'm going to have a setup so that it doesn't actually allow certain sparks. So I think this might be the shortest realistic path we could come up with. Right, so this is going to go straight into there, and then we're going to need an item filter here for only wood, I think. So, only allow wood through here. Right? Okay, now we just need a spark to come through that is full. And then we can set this to be an item filter for no item, I think. Possibly. So we'll set this here, and this will be... Or no, No, we'll set it up here. Okay, and then only allow you through if you have no item. Does that work? I need a spark to come through with a stack of wood. So you go that way. Oop, no, wrong way. Wrong way. There we go. So you drop off. Then you go through the crossing, you go back through there, drop off, go through there, so on and so forth. Just to double check. Yeah, you are full. Okay. Yeah, I guess. It's like we're adding in more problems with this crossing here because they have to cross paths on both ways. It's not as much of a delay, but there is still a delay. I don't think I'll ever be able to get this. Not with the tools that I currently have at my disposal, anyway. I don't think I need this one way either. I mean, I'll keep it there, just 'cause. Kind of helps with the visualizing the flow of traffic, you know? Man, if only I could put no filter items and things like that on ramps, that would make this much easier. Because then I could just make it so that if you don't have an item, you just stop right here without having to walk all that little way. I mean, it's not clogged and it's not backed up, so I guess that's all I can really ask for. If I really wanted to increase the throughput to test it, I would throw some more sparks on the line. So let's test it. It's going to obviously be a while until they get through the system. We'll check it out here. Empties go back. Empties go back. They all get set up. So far, there's no issues with the splitter slowing them down. There's a noticeable slowdown here at the crossing. Splitter is working just fine, though. Yeah, the biggest problem is just that, huh? So this whole setup with the recycler, I mean, does it make this path right here superfluous? Would I be better off taking the empties and routing them this way? Either way, the empties from this path have to touch this path. That might be a better idea, just to get rid of this altogether and just extend a path down this way for empties. But again, biggest problem, this ramp is in the way and I can't put up item filters, so maybe it's just not even worth bothering with. I could set up an empty item filter here. No, that doesn't matter. Oh my god, keep running out of time. I mean, I could extend the path down this way, set up an item filter here and have them walk that way, I think. Would that work? So only empties can exit out that way. We can set up a one-way this way. Okay, so that means I need to get rid of that. They'll drop off, and oh yeah, I have to connect the path. Smart. And the empties will go that way. Route back into the system. So now this path is useless. Which means I don't need this crossing here. Or this. Right? Looks a little better. Drop off, you go back into the system, go back into the system. Yeah, okay, no, that's better. Yeah. Jeez, man, that took... Okay, I apologize. That took me way too long to work out, but that's my process for figuring the stuff out. It's a convoluted process, and you sit there and you scratch your head, but that's like 75% of the fun of these games, right? You know, figuring out where your inefficiencies are, trying to optimize them, so on and so forth. But yeah, I think that's going to do that for that episode. If you guys liked it, feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, so on and so forth. Hopefully this helped you guys out. I know it was kind of a, I don't know, more of a slower-paced, efficiency-based, you know, episode as far as me running around the base and trying to optimize. But hopefully you guys like this kind of stuff too. But anyway, keep an eye on look on these. I mean, we've gone up in tracked items per minute. Before we were hitting low 20s, now we're hitting almost 30. So it's working. It's working. I think technically these lines can't go above 30 because there's a splitter. Both of these item trackers are useless, by the way. I would have to put one, I think, here to view. But, yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.